So with the next generation of steam machine around the corner, I thought it'd be time to take a look at the first generation of the steam machine. So the first generation came out in the mid 2010s and it didn't do so well. SteamOS just kind of wasn't there yet. And for those who know, you're looking at this one, be like, where's the Steam logo? Well, it should be there, but because of the failure of the steam machine, it just didn't really take off. People like Alienware that made these boxes, there were a few different companies, but to me, Alienware stood out the most. There was a little Steam logo in that piece there. The reason we're taking a look at this today is because I want to show what the steam machine was and how I think in some ways, not technically, like a technological advantage, but this one is kind of better than the one we're getting. Now, of course, the new one will be better at gaming and have better hardware and everything, but there's just some neat features about this one, like its upgradability and how easy it is for the user. So this particular model we got here, I believe it is the Alpha R2 variant. It's got an i5 6400T, 8GB of RAM. It's got a GTX 960 4GB model, and this one has had its hard drives upgraded over time just to make it better, because it originally did come with a non-SSD, a spinning disk hard drive, 500GB I think was the default on these. But let's take a look and see what makes this special and why I think it's potentially better than the newer steam machine in some ways. So we'll start at the front. Here we have two USB ports on the front. We also have our alien head, which is our power on button, and that does light up, and so does this triangle piece here, which I did on the original revision. Now, one thing I really don't like is I like the top bit plastic, like this matte plastic, but then you've got this shiny plastic. Oh my god, I did have a go clean it before the video because it just looks terrible. It's just got scratches and all sorts on it, but it's been kicking around for about 10 years. It's got some marks, but on the back we have an interesting assortment of I/O. We have our optical fiber for audio, two more USBs, an Ethernet, and HDMI in and out. And then on this one here, you might think that's a weird looking connector. This was for their graphics card dock. Before they were a big thing, Alienware had one first. You can actually find the docks online, and they can be cheap. The most expensive thing is this connector because it's proprietary. They didn't sell a lot of them. There's not that many of these cables knocking around. And last but not least is the power socket just there. This is the power brick for the whole thing. It's 180 watt, obviously it's Dell, and it's got that weird circular connector. But yeah, that's the power brick. I just wish with things like this that they'd put it inside somehow. But we've looked around all the sides, but there is actually a hidden port on this device, and it's on the bottom. So on the bottom we have a bit more ventilation. We've got vents all the way around the outside, and it's just this hidden pocket here. If we lift this out, inside here there's a USB socket. And what's that USB socket for, Dan? That USB socket is for game controller dongles. So here we have the one for the Mamba 1 controller that we did a review on. All we do is we make sure we get the right way around, and we just slide that in there. We just slide it in there like that. Some difficulty there putting that in. As you know, always you plug in USB in, it never fits right the first way around. So yeah, you put your little adapter in there, cover it up, and then you don't have to look at it. It's not protruding out anywhere. It's all nice and neatly tucked away. Because really, the steam machine is more for console users, over like PC users. Of course, it's a PC. It's more like that console mark, and I've always loved just like that console idea with the steam machine. That's why I have one of these actually, because I don't know why it's not plugged in at the moment, but yeah, I use it mainly for like lighter weight games, because it also comes with built-in Bluetooth as well. But yeah, it's enough of that. Let's get inside and have a look around. To get inside the Alienware Alpha R2, there are 4 screws. I've already removed them for the purpose of this video. You can't use just like a normal screwdriver like I like this one, because it won't go deep enough into the screw holes. You need something that's going to go deeper, which I find really annoying because I use this type of screwdriver for everything, just because it's got so many different ends. But yeah, you're going to need a longer screwdriver for that one. So once you've got your screws undone, you got to kind of try and get it apart. I don't know the best way, maybe someone online's posted a better method, but basically the scratchy plastic, the piano lap plastic, will kind of come away from there, like so. And you kind of want to sit it down like that because, the computer's in there, and it just lifts off the top. No hidden cables or anything. Try and trip you up. And you've got the plastic and your RF shielding in there. And then on the bottom, we just lift this out like so, and that's our bottom plastic piece. So as you can see, this has been very user serviceable up to now. And as you can see when we look in here, now we have our CPU under here, we have our GPU under here, and we can see some other things. But before we look at this, I'll show you where the other hard drive thing is, because this thing has 2 hard drive slots. believe it or not. So if we flip it over onto the underside, you can see some of the cable in here for like the Wi-Fi antenna, like the antenna cables, and the extra wiring that goes along here for the dongle USB hub. So under this little black panel here, we'll get our trusty Amazon Basic screwdriver out. Not a big screw on that one. And all we do is just slide it off, and underneath there's a 2.5-inch SSD, and it just, in and out. It's so easy to upgrade the storage on this thing, and like the new Steam machine, the only upgradable things is going to be the storage and the RAM. I get that, but people are saying it's going to be a bit harder to get to, and I think this really is a design. And I think, Alienware get a bit of hate on that, and I get why with their modern designs, and this was certainly, a decent product in its time. It just didn't take off. So how do we access everything else? So we're going to do the GPU first. It's a little fan cable just down here, and we just unplug that from the motherboard. Press in these two here, and there we are. We can remove that. So as you can see, the fan comes in, it pushes air along there, cools the top of the heatsink, and then air goes out the back, and of course, little vents on the back. So we put that off to the side. We can do a similar thing again with the CPU. Now, if you're looking at the CPU here, don't think what I thought and think, oh, you have to unscrew these first before you unclip that one, because logically, why would this one be any different? You can unplug it like so, and of course there's another cable in there. We're just going to leave that one there. It's a bit hard to get into, and my sausage fingers won't let me get in there that easily. So now we're in here, and we can see we've got our Wi-Fi card here. We have an M.2 SSD in here as well. This one's a 256 from SK Hynix, and we have our RAM. It's sold-in RAM, laptop RAM. Just pops up like so. You change it out. I think this model spotted was 16 gigs RAM, maybe 32. I'll pop it on the screen. This is just an 8 gig stick in here, and we have our two heat sinks left here, of course. GPU on this side. The GPU in these computers was never meant to be upgraded. It's an on the board type thing, but what's under here is our CPU. If we unscrew the CPU, you're going to see this is like one of the most ahead of its time, weirdly consumer friendly things that I think Alienware has done, or Dell. They get a lot of slack for, not creating the best designs, but this one definitely was ahead of its time. There's not a lot of chips you can put in here. I believe the logical upgrade is this i7 CPU, and I think because it's mainly used to upgrade these, it's actually quite expensive. It's a 6th gen i7, and it either didn't make a lot of them or it's just expensive. So we just unscrew that. These, spring screws, to keep the tension down, because you don't want your PC overheating. This thermal paste could definitely do with a change, but what you are seeing here is a full-size proper socketed GPU. A PC this size has a proper full socketed GPU. You can upgrade the CPU, you can upgrade the RAM, upgrade the storage. Like I say, it came with a mechanical hard drive. You get 2 slots for storage. Here you can add an M.2 and an SSD. It hasn't taken us that long to even get in here, and you can do it yourself. Imagine if the Steam machine that's coming out hopefully this year, because it's been pushed back, it is April now. I think it was supposed to be out in the first quarter of 2026, and it's is the first quarter over? We're in April now. It just adds extra life to a PC like this. And if you wanted to compare it for size, yeah, my Steam Deck's a bit dusty, but look at the length of it compared to a Steam Deck. It's a small PC. It's a nice little under your TV PC. I love it. This is certainly one of the more interesting Alienware PCs that I've been able to look at. I wish there was more like this, easy customizable, all of that was, labeled and everything. Even in here, everything is labeled. M.2 processor, even got cool little alien etched on the motherboard there. Such a good design, I think. So I'm going to put this together and come back to you. So it only took a few minutes to put this back together. It's so user serviceable. I want to know what you guys think. Do you remember the first generation of Steam machines, the origins of Steam OS? I'm glad the Steam Deck came out, and that's a brilliant little handheld device. I am looking forward to the new generation of Steam machine, Price, I think, is going to be a bit of a factor. I think we're looking around $1,000, so I don't know how I feel about that. It's dearer than a console, but it is it's a fully fledged PC at the end of the day. I suppose Valve have to make something on it so people don't repurpose the PCs, because obviously consoles, you can only really play the games on the consoles, so that's where the manufacturer makes the money. But yeah, a little interesting piece of PC gaming history here, and I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.